Amy, and as the jury proceedings continued, the 12 jurors who found Frazier Glenn Cross Jr. guilty of murder will further decide his fate. The Now KC's Tara Hall spoke with the defense attorney today. What is the jury most likely to rule?
All right, so there are innumerable possibilities. However, according to the attorneys I spoke to today, they gave me three likely options. First would be life in prison. Second, life in prison without the chance of parole. And then finally, the death penalty.
In his nearly 2 decades as a criminal defense attorney, Paul Cram has witnessed few cases as memorable as Frazier Glenn Cross's.
Unusual that Mr. Cross is representing himself. Very unusual, very rare to see the defendant act as counsel.
Cram suspects the jury deciding Cross's fate will act swiftly.
I am relatively confident that the jury will find that the aggravating factors have been met and will likely impose death penalties.
But here's where it gets complicated. While Kansas still deems the death penalty constitutional, an execution has not been carried out since 1965.
The vast majority of the folks who are sentenced to death will likely die of natural causes. And what we say is they're going to die when the Lord calls them, not when the warden calls them. It's very expensive to put someone on the warden's call list.
While Cram suspects that Cross will join the 9 other men on Kansas's death row, he says because capital punishment in the state has a complicated past, Cross may never find himself in the hot seat.
If our Supreme Court finds that this is a valid conviction, Mr. Cross will join the 9 gentlemen already on death row. He will be number 10, and in all likelihood, he will die of natural causes long before the initial post-conviction appellate process is complete.
This could be years.
Decades.
All right, so here's where the Paul Graham's decades comment comes into play. Now, should Cross be sentenced to death, his case would go to the state Supreme Court, where it would be thoroughly reviewed. Once the review is complete, then Cross could appeal the sentence as many times as he wanted, potentially, and then all of that combined can lead to a decades-long litigation process. Now, Justin, we've got all of these details from the day of that shooting right on up to yesterday's guilty verdict on our website, kshb.com.
All right, moving on to another big case now. A few hours